Hey everyone, so I've got another haul video for you today, and usually my hauls are collective hauls with a bunch of different things in them, but for the first time in forever, I'm about to start breaking into Disney songs. For the first time in forever, I thought I'd do a haul that's a little bit more themed. As you can tell by the title, this is a haul for Byron books. Ever since I started talking about Lord Byron on YouTube about 2.5 years ago, basically as soon as I first discovered him, people have been asking me to recommend books and things, so I thought if I do a haul for the books that I've recently purchased, it may give some of you some ideas for books that you want to read or certain angles you can look at. So that's what we're going to do today. There's 6 of them. 5 are from Abebooks and 1 is from eBay. I can't remember the individual prices. Most of them are reasonably cheap, almost about £20, so the entire total order came to 50 something, which, considering most of these are quite old books no longer in print, I'm actually quite pleased with that price. I will say now, this is a haul, this isn't a collection of reviews. I haven't read any of these yet. I've flicked through them, but I've not read them thoroughly. So this is a haul and first impressions as opposed to 6 little reviews. So the first one is The Byron Women by Margot Strickland, and this I was really looking forward to. I have a lot of interest in the women related to Byron, and it's quite a pretty book, but that's about as far as my interest goes. It's just a short collection of biographies for most of the main women in Byron's life. But what I was really disappointed by when it has arrived is that the main woman I have interest in, Mary Chaworth, is not mentioned. Now, I would personally argue that Mary Chaworth is the most important person most important woman in Byron's life. People may disagree, but I have valid reasons for arguing it. But Margot Strickland apparently doesn't consider her important at all because she's not mentioned. As a point of interest, the following women are mentioned in the book: of Augusta, Leigh, Lady Caroline Lamb, Annabel Milbank, Byron's wife, Lady Melbourne, Claire Clement, Teresa Guiccioli, Medora Lee, and Ada Lovelace. I was very happy to see Medora Lee and Claire Clement in there because I love them. So it'll be an interesting read and nice to get background information on some of the women that are not so frequently touched upon. For example, Teresa Guiccioli. But a little bit disappointed that there was no Mary Chaworth in there. Then we have Byron and the Honourable Augusta Leigh by John S. Chapman. This one I've heard a lot of positive things about. I've got a couple of other biographies about Augusta Leigh, Byron's half-sister. Basically, if you don't know Byron's half-sister, it's heavily rumoured that they had an incestuous relationship. I have my doubts, but I'll go into that at some point in the future. But I've heard a lot about this, and I'm really looking forward to reading this one. Now, this one I was so excited about when it got here. It is absolutely beautiful. This is Byron: The Last Phase by Richard Edgcumbe. This was published in 1910. I love old books. This is certainly not the oldest I have, but it's gorgeous. Beautiful, beautiful book. The pages you can see there, I believe this is an ex-library book, and it's just such a gorgeous, gorgeous copy. Look there, it's just, I love the look of it, and it smells old, and I love it. This deals, as far as I can tell, with the latter part of Byron's life, and it is very, very pretty, which is always a bonus. Then we have To Lord Byron by George Paston and Peter Quennell. I'm a great fan of Peter Quennell's work, so this is going to be exciting. Published 1939, so not as old, but still reasonably tatty, as you can tell. This one I'm looking forward to. It's called To Lord Byron because it's female profiles based on letters written to Lord Byron, and I'll take you through the names that are featured, and this does have Mary Chaworth in it. Not all of these letters have survived, and even the ones that have survived aren't really published in full, so we've just got snippets of them in here, but it's still going to be quite interesting to read. So we have Elizabeth Pigott, Mrs. Spencer Smith and Lady Falkland, Susan Vaughan, Lady Caroline Lamb, Lady Frances Wedderburn Webster, which is always a mouthful to say, Henrietta Desere, I'm probably pronouncing that wrong, Harrietta Wilson, Mary Chaworth, Susan Boy, Smith Mercer, Elphinston, Claire Clement and Isabella Harvey. She's got them all there. And there are beautiful pictures in this one. There's a gorgeous picture of Elizabeth Pigott, which I had never seen before. There. I'd never ever seen it before. So straight away I'm just addicted to this book and haven't even started reading it yet. So this is definitely one of my favourite purchases out of the 6. This one is Pilgrim of Eternity by John Drinkwater, and this, as far as I can tell, just looks at Byron's life in its entirety. But from the bits I've kind of flicked through, it looks like it takes a kind of half scholarly, half biography approach, so it's going to be an interesting read. Published in 1925. It's not as pretty as The Last Phase, but it's still very beautiful. But we have some beautiful illustrations in here. So it's definitely a very unique book, and as you can see, it's quite sizable, so I'm really looking forward to kind of getting into the heart of this one. And the last one we have here is his very self-invoiced collected Conversations of Lord Byron, collected by Lovell. Not as old as some of the other ones, but 1954, so still quite old, no longer in print, and quite a good size as well. And what I'm looking forward to reading about this is that it's Lord Byron represented by his contemporaries, conversations they had, anecdotes and things. And as far as I've flicked through it and read a couple, and what I think is great about this is that people tend to think that Byron was this bad man and nobody liked him and he was hated by everybody. But when you actually listen to the words that his contemporaries say, they have some gorgeous stories to tell. They actually portray him as this lovely, kind of fun-loving guy. And I'm not denying that Byron wasn't. I'm gonna air quote the word moody because he wasn't. He had speculated to have had manic depression. So it's kind of a given that he's going to go from being really, really lovely, happy, jolly to kind of being dark and depressed. Comes with a mental illness. But there are some beautiful stories in this just from the first pages that I've read, so I'm looking forward to getting into the heart of this one as well. I think it's going to really open up Byron's character from his contemporaries' perspectives, which I think is just an invaluable source of information. So there we have the 6. They're quite heavy. I have a lot of reading to do. They did cost me a lot of money, as I said. I've kind of bought all the cheap Byron books I want now, so it's kind of just buying the more expensive ones in bits. But I'm really looking forward to reading these. If you're interested in Byron, as I know some of you are, I hope that this has inspired you to buy some books. Please feel free to message me if you want any further information or anything. I can help where I can, but let me know your thoughts, and I'll see you all in my next video. Bye!